They say the sea holds more than salt water. It holds secrets, spirits, and sometimes second chances. In the coastal village of Okunede, where fishermen feared the deep and mothers feared hunger, lived a woman who had tasted both grief and silence. Her name was Mama Ijoma. Years ago, she had been full of laughter, walking hand in hand with her husband, Okonkwo, by the ocean's edge. But everything changed when a storm took him. One minute, he was waving from his canoe. The next, the sea swallowed him whole. His body never returned, only his paddle, cracked and splintered. Since that day, she wore his memory like a wrapper, wrapped tightly around her every morning, every breath. She was left alone with 2 children, Obinna, her quiet, thoughtful boy of 10, and Chidinma, her curious, bright-eyed daughter of 7. Together they lived in a tiny mud hut with a thatched roof that coughed with every gust of wind. Each morning, before the sun crept over the hills, Mama Ijoma tied her faded wrapper and walked barefoot to the market. She sold roasted maize, bitter leaf, or sometimes nothing at all. Her hands were blistered, her voice often hoarse from calling out to passing buyers who rarely stopped. Some days she returned home with only a few cowries, other days with nothing but silence and dust. At night, her children would ask, "Mama, aren't you eating?" And she'd smile through her hunger. "I'm not hungry, you 2 eat." But her eyes told a different story. Their roof leaked, their mats were torn, the pot rarely boiled. Yet she never begged, she never cursed the sea, she only worked and prayed. One afternoon at the stream behind the village, Mama Ijoma knelt beside the water washing Obinna's tattered school shirt. That's when she heard them, 2 fishermen, young, brash, and loud. "I swear on my father's grave," one said, "we caught a spirit, a real one, half fish, half woman." She was crying, begging us. Her belly was big like she's carrying. "A herbalist will pay plenty for her. Spirit blood is rare." We tied her by the estuary, near the old canoe. Mama Ijoma dropped the shirt. Her heart raced. A mermaid. Pregnant. Caught. She said nothing, but her mind churned. That night, long after her children had fallen asleep under their threadbare cloth, she crept out. The moon was full, casting silver light over the dirt paths. She took a small kitchen knife, wrapped herself in her darkest shawl, and followed the fisherman's trail. The estuary was quiet, the tide low, and there, beneath an overturned canoe, tangled in nets and bleeding from her fins, was the creature. She was beautiful, ethereal. Her hair shimmered like wet silk. Her tail, though bruised, flickered faintly with silver light. Mama Ijoma knelt beside her. "Don't be afraid," she whispered. "I won't let them harm you." The mermaid blinked, too weak to speak. With trembling hands, Mama Ijoma sliced through the ropes. The mermaid collapsed into her arms. She wrapped her in cloth, lifted her onto her back, and vanished into the night. Back home, she laid her on a mat hidden behind a curtain. When her children stirred, she said softly, "We have a guest. She is in pain, but we must protect her." They nodded, sensing the seriousness in their mother's tone. For days, Mama Ijoma nursed the mermaid. She crushed herbs, fed her weak broth, and bathed her wounds. The mermaid never spoke, but her gaze followed Ijoma with reverence. Then came the oddities. The water pot never emptied. The cooking fire never died. Chidinma, who had been coughing for weeks, suddenly grew strong. Even their once dry garden began to sprout green leaves. But blessings, when sudden, stir suspicion. Neighbors began to whisper, "She doesn't come to the market anymore. Her children look too healthy for someone so poor." I saw a glow in her window at night. One afternoon, Madame Uduak arrived, clutching her wrapper tight. "I came to check on you," she said. "I've missed you in the market." "My daughter is sick," Mama Ijoma replied, barring the doorway. "We're resting." Madame Uduak's eyes narrowed, but she turned away. That night the mermaid stirred in pain. Her hands clutched her swollen belly. The baby was coming. Mama Ijoma sent her children to sleep at her cousin's house. Then she locked the doors and prepared hot water. The labor lasted all night. The hut glowed, the air shimmered, the walls shook slightly. And then, a soft cry. The baby girl was born. Her skin glowed, but the mother, she took one final breath and closed her eyes. The mermaid was gone. Mama Ijama held the child to her chest and wept. She wept for a woman she didn't know. She wept for a world that wouldn't understand. By dawn, with no time to lose, she wrapped the baby in her scarf. She didn't wait for prayers. She didn't look back. She slipped through the bush path, avoiding the roads. She reached the ocean. It was still, almost waiting. A glowing shell floated toward her. She stepped into the tide. "Your mother is gone," she said softly, "but you are not alone." She kissed the child, laid her on the shell, and watched as it floated out. The sea parted gently, and then the baby was gone. She returned home, her wrapper soaked, her heart torn. That morning the villagers woke to something strange. Mama Ijoma's hut now shimmered. The walls gleamed. Her roof had turned to bright zinc. Her floor, smooth as stone. Outside her door sat a massive clay pot. Inside, gold coins, pearls, coral stones, and a note written on seaweed. "She is safe. You are seen. You are loved." From that day, her life changed. Her children went to school in fine uniforms. Her farm flourished. Her hands, once blistered, healed. She became the wealthiest woman in Oken Ede. But she never told a soul what happened. Every full moon, she walked to the ocean and sat in silence. And sometimes, just sometimes, she heard the soft cry of a child and the ocean whispering her name. What you do in secret can become your greatest legacy. Kindness may not be loud, but its reward echoes forever.